Welcome back to another exciting episode of A Legend Talks. I am the legendary Michael Bowie here with the legendary Emmanuel.
I am the legendary Emmanuel Pierce. I can introduce myself.
No one really introduces you like I can because I am like the Paul Heyman of announcers.
Okay. I don't need Paul Heyman.
Okay. Everyone needs a Paul Heyman. You're a Paul Heyman guy. Okay.
No, I'm not. I'm gonna mic myself.
For sure.
Mic myself.
For sure.
Continue.
Here we are. Another exciting episode where the name of the chapter is The Option of Adoption. And this
is a really messed up name.
I mean, adoption is an option, and it rhymes, and I thought it was cool for this remaster. Now, you won't find this chapter inside of the original, but you will find a lot of the happenings. Like I said, this remastered version has 50,000, up to almost, like I think 48,000 new words of content. And so some of the chapters have just been split up, so a lot of the happenings are different. It's just a little bit more detailed. There are a couple chapters that are different completely, and some that just are given new names. And this is one of them. The option for adoption. The option of adoption. In this chapter, a lot of things happen. Chance, obviously where we left off, wants to go back and kill Snake. She heads back there. She fucks him up. She's a beast. She's a monster. She's like the John Wick of equalizers. I don't even know if that's a real thing. I just made up that term. But anyway, she's pretty badass. She goes in there and she tears shit up. And then here comes Dominic. Catches her with a gun. Catches her doing the deed. And pulls her into his limo. He's kind of crazy. He's doing all kinds of crazy shit. I mean, I want to leave that up for the reader. I mean, but one of the things that I will say is that, he's getting a chance to drink. She's underage. And, Sky to drink. He's underage and everything. And so they're like talking and everything. And Chance, he's starting to feel Chance. He's like, Chance, she's kind of a rebel, but she's badass. And I'm a badass. And so I like her because of that. So, but he wants to kind of show his authority. They stop over at an orphanage. Dominic shows his crazy side some more. Kills the orphanage owner. Shows his crazy side with the orphanage kids. Tells the youngest orphanage orphan there, the little girl, Sarah, hey, the price just went up for you guys to have an orphanage, and you better have my money. I think she's 5 years old. I can't remember exactly, 5 or 6, something like that. And he kind of just leaves her there.
You wrote the book.
I didn't. Okay, do you want me to remember every single nook and cranny that I wrote? You think Stephen King?
And you wrote the book.
Is out here remembering every... I know she's young. I don't know her exact age. Did I say it in the book? Mm-hmm. You read it a couple times.
Okay.
Don't try and go find it now. Anyway.
She's 6. I know the answer. She's 6.
No, you just look for
Sarah is 6. Sarah is 6.
I said 6. I said 5 or 6.
No, you didn't say 6. You said 5 or 6.
Go back and watch the footage. I know what the fuck I said. How you gonna tell me what I said? Look, that's not what the episode's about. We're not about to sit here and argue on some bullshit. Okay? I already got to deal with bullshit you and bullshit E.
We wrote the book and you don't even know.
We're not doing that. Okay? So basically, she's like, hey, you guys can have a better life. I just was introduced to the Resistance. I'm going to take all you guys back to the Resistance. Let's chill out for the night. And in the morning, I'll take you guys back there. So she takes them back there. They're welcomed with open arms. Jesse's kind of still trying to convince John to join and everything. And how did I say the chapter ends? I don't have the book with me. I'm going based on memory for pretty much everything. What's the last part of what happens inside of this book?
The last part of what happens inside of the book or this chapter?
Of this chapter, sorry.
So John comes and takes a look around, but he's not committed to joining the Resistance.
Right. They get the bracelet and everything.
And it just ends with Chance looking at the TV, seeing what happened at the orphanage the day prior.
Okay. I feel like there was something else that it wasn't superhero. Oh, yes. No, there was. This is the part where Justin told Jesse about, the history of him kind of working with a guy named Drake Matthews and finding out about how he used to pull, robberies over inside of a rich neighborhood. So Jesse's eyes and ears kind of light up about it because he's like, could this be the same people that did damage to, John's house and killed John's family? I'm going to go over there and find some answers. So that's kind of where we're at, leading into the new chapter, where Jesse's going to kind of go over there and try and get some answers from this guy. Then Chance goes and sits down. Oops, I just transitioned out. Hold on a second. I hit the button. Yeah, there's going to be a major fuck up here inside of the show. My bad, everybody. Technical difficulties. I was waving my hands and hit the button. So anyway, back to normal. Don't be laughing at me. It happens. It doesn't happen in actual live television, but it happens.
Only to you. Continue.
But yeah. So that's how it ends. That's where we're at. So let's hear your stupid. No. Without going to get anything else or any props. Okay, you're not listening to what I'm telling you. Stop putting on the.
You done? Are you done?
Do I have a choice?
Is you finished or is you done?
Okay, look, we're not going to do this. Okay.
Is you finished?
No mo. Not no mo. We ain't doing this. No mo.
Listen, is you finished or is you done?
Do your stupid fucking questions.
Is you finished?
Do your questions.
Or is you done?
On this imaginary... I'll hit the intro again. Or this time it'll be the outro. We just end the whole damn show. I don't know who... What do you...
This is what you're doing? This is what I need you to do.
What are you, 5 years old?
This is what you're doing?
Yes.
This is what I need you to do.
No, obviously you're the same age as Sarah. Now, I'm not even giving
this
you the
is
same
what
age
you're
as Sarah,
doing?
because Sarah's a little bit more mature and older than
This
you.
is what I
She's
need
6
you
years
to do.
old. You're definitely like 4.
Right,
Maybe 3.
You just for 1 second.
This is not a thing. Oh my god.
Reporter E back.
No, he's not back.
Coming live from E News.
We're live, but not from E News.
Of the book, A Legend Story, available on Amazon now and print and digital. And we are here to ask him the hard-hitting questions.
Are they really?
The real questions here at E News. Again, please get in the comment section if you have something that you would like E News to ask the author.
It's not a real thing, people, so you don't need to send anything in because it's not real.
First question.
Okay, here we go.
Why such a messed up name for this chapter? You know, you named this chapter The Option of Adoption, and then we got Dominic coming in here killing foster kids.
Why am I laughing at that? I feel like I'm going to hell just for laughing at that.
Don't you think this name is just a little perverted?
No, I think it's perfect. It's fitting. It has all the things that a chapter name could possibly have with rhyming bars, by the way, bars. Option for adoption. I'm like the Eminem of book writers. I think it's good. Next question.
No. Why is it perfect? Explain.
Because I came up with it. That's why it's perfect. Yeah. Next question.
Oh my God. Okay, moving on to our next question.
If anybody disagrees inside of the comments, let us know. But it's a great chapter name. The Option of Adoption.
The Option to Kill. Anywho, let's talk about Chance. Dominic in this book so far has not been very merciful. What's behind the idea of giving Chance mercy? Now, mind you, the readers haven't gotten this far to know that she's still going to be an integral character in the future. And obviously, when you're writing this, you got to make a decision. So why was the decision to let her live?
Chance is, and it was always intended to be, a badass. Everybody is scared of Dominic. But you have this person who's a teenager, who's not, who's a badass, who has not really a lot of fear. She's been through everything you could possibly think of. And there's no history, but there's a connection between them. He likes her because, you know, when you think about it, you have somebody that's standing up to you and nobody's ever done that. Everyone's been fearful of you. That's going to pique your interest. You know, it's like having a bully and everyone's scared of this bully, but this one person who's a complete dork, nerd, Steve Urkel and all, literally is like, bro, I'm not scared of you. You're not. You might be able to kill me, beat me up, take my lunch money, but I'm not scared of you. You're nothing. That's going to pique that bully's interest. Maybe he's going to try harder. Maybe he's just like, all right, well, maybe you can join my regime. No pun intended. But she was always meant to be that badass character, that one person who's young, who has no fear, the person that had been through so much that I wouldn't say is like Dominic because they're two different people, but has that same kind of history of bullshit and stuff that they've been through. Where it's like, bro, we've been through this. We from the same hood. We've been through the same shit. You're not out here scaring nobody. You think that's the first time I seen a gun, Dominic? You think that's the first time I seen somebody die, Dominic? I mean, that's the kind of mentality that Chance has. That's the kind of relationship and connection that they have with having kind of a similar history. What the fuck are you writing down? Just answer your next question.
Okie dokie. So let's juxtapose that with Sky here in the book, in this chapter, who seems to be mortified of Dominic in that interaction that you were saying. It would seem to me, if Dominic is raising like him, Sky should be fearless. So what's going on?
That could be true. That could not be true. I mean, from a young age, somebody that's always mentally and or physically abused is going to have more fear as a child growing into, the teen years and or adulthood of that person. Maybe eventually they grow out of it, but excuse me, I think of that as the same concept as somebody that maybe is in an abusive relationship or whatever. Now all of a sudden someone closes the door too hard and they jump because they're scarred by that kind of history. Dominic didn't have that impact on Chance. Chance went through her own shit and trials and tribulations and horror stories and obstacles of her own in her life. And so they're just two different people from two different eras. And I think, and I guess this is foreshadowing or maybe it's spoiling to give it away. It's not to say that Sky is always going to be like that. That at some point, some people do find their balls or they'll find their courage or they'll find, enough of a reason to speak up and say something or fight back. And at the end of the day, we're at one point of Sky's life. And sometimes a lot of other people have an impact on people growing up and saying, hey, you don't have to be scared. Hey, you don't have to be fearful of individuals that really don't have power over you. You are your own person, and keep pushing forward. So,
yeah, let's let's push forward here. Let's talk about Jesse and John. They're rekindled kind of in this thing, the relationship. The last time we saw them, they didn't really end on a super positive note. But it speaks to the testament of their friendship, I guess, that John is willing to come see the resistance for Jesse, and Jesse is basically now going to try to see if this Drake Matthews had anything to do with his family's murder. Speak to what you think about friendships and having arguments, but also maintaining that friendship and that closeness of being willing to do things that can get you in trouble, like Jesse and John.
Well, I think that a lot of people think they understand the definition of friendship. And, John and Jesse are best friends. And some people have even the same misconception on best friends. I mean, people can have friends, people that they talk to constantly and or hang out. Some of those people still should not be trusted. And even best friends, a best friend, people may have this ideal in their head that they never ever have arguments, that they never ever bump heads. And I think that that's a non-true assessment. I have a couple of best friends, not many. I had one best friend who I thought was my best friend, and we're no longer best friends, or even friends, or even associates. We don't talk at all. And this was somebody I knew for 13 years. And I've known, I guess, longer, but was actually friends with them for 13 years. Bumping heads is different. Is different to explain based on what happens. And these two have never had that kind of situation. They've always been there for each other, not for themselves, sorry. They've been there for each other. They've always supported. And you can even see that kind of relationship when John lost his family and Jesse was there for him, offering up a place for him to stay and, his condolences, reaching out to try and find out information about who committed the crimes for him. I mean, they really are there for each other, which is really the breaking point on John, because John is not there for Jesse. Jesse needs him, and he's asking him to be there to support him with his resistance. And I guess support is different. Maybe he's supporting him by, mentally, but not physically, being a part of this resistance. But it still bothersome to them, to him, to Jesse, as a person that really wants his closest friend, his best friend, to kind of be there. Friendship is, I think, defined differently to each person, no different than best friends, and that people need to understand that definition is really based upon being there for each other. Families fight, and then they come back to being family at the end of the day. Hey, yeah, I know we got it. And that's the same thing friends would do. Friends are essentially like family. And I think that those two have it for sure. And I think I answered your question, right?
Yeah, you answered my question. And you're right. And thank you. So one last question.
Thank God.
One last question we have here. Justin and Chance are kind of debating with Jesse about him going out to try to find this information on to see if they can find information on John's family's killer. And Justin is telling him, I guess kind of supporting, but kind of not. And Chance is like, no, you shouldn't do that. You got to let him find his own closure. And then Justin kind of gives a quick quip to kind of point out the hypocrisy in Chance's statement.
You froze up a little bit.
I was saying I'll pick up where I was. So Justin and Chance are kind of, they're going back and forth about whether Jesse should help or not. And Justin kind of says, Chance, you're kind of not one to talk. You went out for revenge. Like, how can you say someone else can't do it? What's your position on revenge, on seeking revenge and retribution?
I'm not somebody on revenge that believes in revenge. I'm somebody that believes more so in karma. At the end of the day, sometimes what I've learned is not saying anything to somebody. Being silent is the best revenge. A lot of people try and get at you and get a response or get a some type of action out of you or reaction out of you, so to speak. That's what's gratifying to them. And when you don't give them that, then they have nothing to go on. I worked with this old individual who literally did stuff so that this person could have stories to tell other people and talk shit about other people. And that's not my mentality. And there's no bitter revenge. It's just, I'm silent. I have nothing to say. And at the end of the day, that is the best version of revenge. It's just being silent. My stance on it is, I don't believe that people should do it. Two wrongs don't make a right. When you do the math, it doesn't add up to make a right.
Two rights make a left. Continue.
Wow. Yeah, thank you, MapQuest. That's another reference for anybody that doesn't know. I guess I should tune it up to like Garmin or anyway. No, I think that this book has so many different words that you can. Love story, revenge story, I'm sure there's a lot more that I could throw out there, but it has so many different words and qualities that embody it. And I think having that revenge story isn't just from that of like, Jesse going out and finding out about Drake Matthews, but also just the revenge between Chance and Snake, the revenge between John and eventually Dominic. I mean, there's a lot of people that have revenge. And like I said before in past episodes, is that a lot of these deal with real life things that we all go through. And the hope is for people to analyze and say, yeah, I kind of had that revenge. I've always wanted to do this, or I always wanted to do that. And my hope is for people to kind of analyze that and say, maybe I shouldn't, because it could turn out this way, or it would hurt somebody, or it hurt me, or whatever the case may be. Just for people to sit on thoughts about all the things that we do daily that hurt either ourselves or others. That's my answer. You frozen? It looks like you're frozen.
I'm not frozen.
Oh, now you're back.
Okay. Well, E-News wants to thank you again for
No, please, can we
answering our
let's
questions,
not say
questions
E
that people
News
want to
because
know. As we said, get in the comment
that's not a
section if
real
you want
thing.
Reporter E or
No,
E-News to ask you
no
something.
one needs to
We
send you
thank
anything
you,
because
and we'll see
you're
you
not
next time on the
you're not a real
broadcast.
character
Reporter E.
on this show. I mean, you just put on a
Uh-huh.
fucking hat. Okay, yeah, take off the hat, and we'll jump into my questions. And my question kind of counteracts yours. What is your problem with the option of adoption?
Problem. I don't have a problem with it. I just think it's an interesting name for a title about killing foster kids.
It's not
For a
about
chapter
killing.
about
That just
foster
happens
kids.
inside of this chapter. That's not what it's about. It's more or less, when I say the option for adoption, that becomes the kids that were adopted by the resistance. It was the option for the adoption of them. It was around the adoption of the adoption home, the foster home, with the foster kids or orphans. So that's what it embodies, not the concept of Dominic going in there, guns blazing.
Well, that's how this kind of all starts. So I just kind of think it's a little messed up, but it is what it is. It's a dark book.
You've made it this far into the book of messed up things, and this is the thing that really gets you?
Those kids have an option of adoption.
This is the thing that gets you.
Bullets.
This is the one that causes you to say, you know what? This is messed up.
Again, it's a dark book,
It's a dark series.
It's a dark series. Well, we're not in the series yet. We're just on book one.
Yeah, well, we have a long way to go. We're nearing the end of this book, but then we're going to really delve into a lot of the different characters and what they're about and everything. But I know that a lot has happened inside of this chapter. And we learned a lot more about Chance. What do you think about the interaction between Chance and Dominic and how she's evolved as a character from when we first were introduced to her?
I think there was a sense of fearlessness when we were first introduced to her. Now, would it be fearlessness to the level to stand up to a mad dictator? Probably not. So taking it to another level, I think is good. Yeah, and from what I know about her now, I mean, I like her as a character. Uh, yeah, I mean, I like her as a character. I think that it takes bravery to deal with somebody like Dominic. You know, and instead of groveling for your life, you have to show him that you're not scared of him in order for him to let you live. So, it's the juxtaposition between those two. Whereas, Dominic is heartless, he doesn't care about anybody, he's fearless, blah blah blah. Chance still has a little bit of her moral side in her, and that comes out in taking the kids to the resistance shelter and her kind of becoming them in that motherly role towards them. I think it was important, although it is her fault that they are now in that position. All she had to do was pay the crime tax.
So, looking at what I would say the word fear.
Mm-hmm.
Fear puts so many people inside of a position where they're scared to do things because of their past.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever been in that situation where you're scared to do something because of your past? And why do you think people are affected by that to a point where they back down, or they're so fearful that it prevents them from doing things? Why do you think that? Because I feel like so many people go through that kind of happenings or route where they let their fear get the best of them. Have you ever been put in that position, and why do you think people allow that to happen to them?
I'm trying to think back to all the things that I didn't do because I was scared, like maybe trying for a sport or something like that. But that was never like a fear of things that happened in the past, more so a fear of failure. And you regret those things the same way. But I never trying. You should at least try. I'm trying to think of a situation in which fear, because of something that happened previously, stopped me from doing
Well, you're not perfect, so I know that there has to be that situation. Um,
Yeah, I'm struggling to. I'm not saying that it hasn't happened. I'm struggling to.
I just feel like
I
fear.
readily admit that I was afraid to do stuff, and like I'm not saying that I'm perfect. It's just I don't think that because of something that happened in the past, I was scared to do something in the future. Um, maybe you know what? Maybe no, no, still wasn't scared to do it in the future.
I just feel like fear plays a huge part inside of this chapter, and it is the foretelling thing that explains, I guess, in some aspect, why certain people, especially when you're asking me, like, why is it that Chance is not fearful of Dominic, but Sky is, and so kind of evaluating it from an individual perspective of your own. And then also evaluating from what you think for others, because I think that that's a common thing where we do let fear get the best of us.
Yeah. I guess I just from my own position, I think the weight of how you feel about what is going to happen stops you from really seeing the positive benefits of something. So, like in Sky's position, you even say it in the book. Dominic is allowing him to speak more without there being severe consequences. But the fact that he could probably still get backhand pistol whipped, um, kicked in the face, I don't know, kung fu is still there, so he still speaks with reservation. Uh, he doesn't say it with his chest, as Kevin Hart would say. So yeah, I see that interaction there. And in real life, I think that happens to a lot of people. Uh, maybe dating wise, you got your heart broken and you're scared to go out and date again because you don't want to go through that feeling again. Or you tried for something and you didn't get it, and so now you feel like you're not adequate enough, so you don't want to do it anymore. Um, uh, oh, okay. Here's a good example. So me passing the bar, I didn't pass the bar the first time, and so not passing the bar the first time, I don't think it was a fear. I knew I had a job that I didn't require passing the bar, but it was just like I failed and I don't want to fail again. Um, did I get over that? Yes. Did I take the exam again? Yes. Did I pass the second time? Yes, I did.
So you had
Um,
zero fear the second time?
I was more comfortable because I had already taken the test, so I knew what to expect.
What if you
Um,
would have failed the second time? I know this is more like a hypothetical.
yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what my reaction would have been. It may have been, oh, I don't want to do this again. I don't want to go through this again. I don't want to study for this again. But at the same time, I probably would have pushed through. But that's a part of the environment, right, that I'm in, where I would have a wife that was encouraging me, a mother that was encouraging me, other people who were encouraging me. So it's just like that is a part of the reason. And in this book, and in some people's lives, they don't have that atmosphere to support them and push them through their fears. Like my first time getting on a roller coaster, so I am not a fan of heights. But my granddad basically kind of forced me to get on a roller coaster, and I got on there. It wasn't so terrible, right? So sometimes we need that environment of people that push us to fight through our fears, and not all of us have that at all those moments. Who is Sky going to go to help him push through his fear when talking to Dominic? Everybody around him is a lackey. They're just going to tell him.
Well, I think
So
Jarvis is that guy. I mean, I know we don't really talk about Jarvis often, but he is more or less like the caretaker that has really raised Sky.
mhm.
It's almost like having the good cop, bad cop, or the mom and father, and I hate to say it, Jarvis is like the mom. It's like, oh, don't worry, Sky. Dominic's is just mad, right now, and blah blah blah, and whatever else, and Dominic's like the drunk father who's just abusive and everything.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say necessarily like he could go to Jarvis, but I do agree with what you're saying. Like who can he go to? But in the same point is who can Chance go to? She's been on her own as a teenager, going through and enduring all the things that she's endured, but she's a lot stronger. And I ask this question just so that people out there that are watching can kind of evaluate from their own perspective what is needed for us to get to that point. Now, you say it's somebody else. We need that other person to push us, but not everybody has that person. And sometimes, why do you even need somebody else to push you to be stronger?
Sometimes you have the strong enough will on your own, and there are other times that you don't. And I don't think it's necessarily that they need to push you to be stronger. Sometimes you do need that. Sometimes you do need people to help you face your fears. Other times, it's that you need that encouragement that you're going to be okay. I feel like it's a threefold thing. And sometimes you have the will, a strong enough will enough to do it on your own. But I think it's the background and the makeup of who you are and what you've been through. She hasn't had she hasn't even had that Jarvis figure as far as we know, right? Like Jarvis is still there.
Well, we don't know, and that's the whole thing. I mean, I know that your wife has asked, like, "Hey, you need to write a book about Chance." So we don't really know her story, but from what we do know, no, she has not had a Jarvis or somebody else.
Mm-hmm. So she's been fending for herself and having to have that strong will and building that character and that development this entire time. Sometimes it's events that help you do that on their own. You know, foreshadowing for the future. Sky will have an event that will make his nuts hang out, and
wow.
he'll come into his own. Sometimes it's stuff in life or other things that push you towards it, not necessarily just people.
Yeah, but I just feel like us as people can be strong enough to do it on our own. It's like Cat Williams said about women. How am I going to give you self-esteem? It's esteem of the motherfucking self. Like, you are the one that brings that self-esteem to you. And that's the same with encouragement, to have courage, you know. Why is that something that needs to be brought on by happenings? People can snap their fingers and do it. Does someone have to die for them to do it? Does someone have to verbally say something to them like, hey, you can be strong, you can be like me? Or do you have to have this traumatic happening just for you to gain that courage that you could have obtained just as easily without loss or anything else?
You got to remember, fear is a gripper. I think the emotion of fear and the anxiety and the weight of it takes away from one's ability to fight through. And again, it's a gripper. It's something that is very difficult to deal with. And so while, yes, we can all try to have the strong enough will to fight through it, sometimes we don't. And that's okay. Sometimes you got to fight. You got to have others help you fight through it. Sometimes some stuff in your life has to happen in order for you to get through it. It's just like, everybody, it's just like this saying, everybody grieves differently. Everybody deals with their fear differently. And it depends on what that fear is, or who it is of. Like for Sky, it's of Dominic. So, it just depends.
Well, you talk about the fear of Sky, the fear from Chance, and I think all of them have fear. And so the one person we really haven't talked about that deals with that same kind of fear is John. He has the fear of joining the resistance. So that kind of leads my last question is, in your eyes, from what's presented, from what you read, in your opinion, why do you think John really has, because it's almost like a fear that he does not want to join this resistance of Jesse's. Why do you think he has that? Is it do you think he's in the right for having that fear of wanting to do that? What are your thoughts on it?
I wouldn't qualify it as fear. I would qualify it as he's still grieving. I would qualify it as he's not even really ready to put himself out there. And he's a person, foreshadowing, that needs an event to happen for him to get back on the wagon. I just don't think he's even back on the wagon mentally yet to even deal with, to even deal with whatever's happening. I feel like he's in a place right now where he just wants to be alone. He wants to deal with the fact that his family is gone. And that's why Jesse's trying to go out and get him closure. He's not over
you say that
What's
that one
happened?
person can do or say anything. Do you think Jesse has done everything that he could have done? Could he have done something different in your eyes that would have sparked that? Or is it because of the loss that's just something that Jesse has to get over? Now, granted, we are foreshadowing. We both know that there's things that happen that may push him to that point.
Yeah. I don't think that there's any. I mean, Jesse is doing all that he can to help John through his grieving. I just people some at times it takes people forever to get over losing somebody, and he lost all of his family.
Well, I just feel like we're stronger as people. Fear is such a big thing that prevents us from doing things in life. And I think that's the overall message, especially
Fear didn't prevent me from becoming a reporter. So
that shit's gonna get canceled pretty soon. Then you're gonna have the fear of what the fuck happened to
No,
you.
I'm not afraid of E News being canceled.
You should be
syndicated. We're a syndicated show. We're not afraid of anything.
You're definitely not. You're not, because you're on this channel, and this channel is not syndicating that bullshit. Okay, I don't know who told you that. I sign off on it, and I ain't signing off on this bullshit. But fear is something that we as people allow to prevent us from bettering ourselves. And the whole thing is that we really shouldn't need other happenings or people telling us or death to be that inspiring factor for us to be less fearful. And I say that just for a lot of people. I know a lot of people that are scared to do this or scared to do that. And it's like, what's the big deal? What are you so scared of? What do you think is going to happen? Only good can come from this. Like, take the risk, take the chance. No pun intended. And see what happens. And yes, you could have bad happenings, but it's Kevin Hart actually said it. The word success, and I've said it in a different kind of context, but the word success, he said perfection.
I like how you tried to throw you a Kevin Hart.
No, because I say it in terms of success. I say it in terms of success, and he said it in terms of imperfection. When I say it to people, I say success only exists because of the word failure. You cannot be successful without having failed. You can't just go in there and be successful. You had... No. Put your hands down.
Success and all this glory.
Put your hands down. But he phrased it to say the word imperfection. You cannot be perfect without having experienced perfection. Like, you had to have failed at something a whole bunch of times in order to get it right and be perfect at it. So it's in that same concept.
I know.
You don't know because you've never experienced success or perfection to the extent of yours.
I know how it is, Kevin. We out here successful black males.
Okay, first of all, stop talking to Kevin like you know him. Okay,
I do. Me and Kevin.
Okay, call him right now. Put him inside the Zoom. Put him in the Zoom. Stop. You're not texting anybody. Stop looking at your phone like you're doing. Anyway, back to the people. Here's the thing. I just want people to know that they're stronger. They're stronger than fear. And most importantly, not looking just at this chapter, but the series in general of its overall messages, you guys are stronger than hate. Now, we are going to talk about hate a lot when we get into maybe finishing this book, maybe even finishing the chapter, because I think that it is a huge conversation. Okay, you're calling me.
About I don't know you.
You were calling me and not
Kevin
Kevin Hart.
He's talking about I don't know you, man.
And I'm assuming you're leaving a voicemail on my phone because my phone just rang.
Why he's saying
and you're going to act like you're still talking to Kevin Hart.
We live.
Okay.
Oh, you don't want to be on the show? Yeah, I know.
I can't wait to listen to this message back because I'll probably play it on the next
episode.
I
know he wants
to. You're on some bullshit. You're not talking to Kevin Hart. You don't know him. Back to the episode.
Stop quoting you, but it's good quotes.
People just need to be.
I told you.
On the understanding that fear is not something that is more powerful than you and your ability to overcome it. If you overcame other obstacles, fear is just one of those things. And like I said, I come across too many people that are scared of so many things. Take the risk. And then you, as an example, you take the bar the second time. Maybe you fail. Do you think that's going to stop you from trying?
No, eventually I would have done it again.
What if it's 5 times that you failed?
I would have done it again. I worked too hard to get through law school to not pass the bar.
So that's the mentality I just hope a lot of people walk away from, because fear is definitely the talk of the town with so many characters inside of this chapter, inside of this story. And I want people as readers to kind of read it and understand that whatever fear they have, because I think we all have it, that we can overcome our fears. For me, I have the fear, and if you watch the story of, I'm going to plug the story of here on the Legend Talks, you'll see my story of where I talk about my trials and tribulations trying to go to California. And I failed many a times, but it didn't stop me. I'm still here. I'm still pushing on. I'm still waiting. If you watch Filmatic, another plug, we're still waiting for that mouse to send us a check. We're still waiting for Netflix to give us some free months. You know, we're still waiting for HBO Max. Just hook it up. Something. I don't know. Put Filmatic on HBO Max. Something big. I'm still going to push for those stars regardless of failure, because at one point when I am successful, when that word success hits, and success is different for each person in terms of levels, when I get there, it was because I kept overcoming fear. The fear of failure. So I just want people to be stronger coming out of reading this book and seeing how the other characters dealt with their fear.
And as Joe Rogan said, evidently, fear is not a factor for you.
Okay, stop saying Joe Rogan's name. Stop saying Joe Rogan's name like you know Joe Rogan. You don't know him. You don't know Kevin Hart. Okay, get off your phone. Don't call me. Do not call me again. Ladies and gentlemen, I will put it on here. If he calls me again, you're going to see the phone ring that he called me, and that's how this shit went down, because that's what he does, okay? So if it rings, y'all gonna look, Manny. So he definitely called me. It's there, and we know that he doesn't know Kevin Hart. He's gonna leave another voicemail. I'm just gonna send this.
I don't know what he's talking about, Joe.
So I want to thank everybody for joining us while he's on his fake ass phone call to me, because it's not Kevin Hart or Joe Rogan. And I want you guys, please. I mean, I cannot stress it enough. We are at 238, and we're hopefully going to put out some new plans to try and boost those numbers for our subscribers. I definitely want to get to 300 and then 300,000. Please don't forget to like the video. It's press one button. Like the video. Okay? Comment. You can put E-News is not real. That's fine with me. Spam it if you want to in the comments. Put a comment in there. Subscribe. That's the biggest thing. You watch the videos, you tune in, you're a big fan, you love the shows, you love the channel, you love me. Can't say the same about this guy. But
they're here for me, not for you.
We need those subscribes. So please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell. Send up some smoke signals. Put a little message in the bottle. Send it on its way. Maybe, I don't know, tie a little note to a pigeon's leg and let it fly away. Hey, bye, Bobby. You go and spread the word. Or, let us know inside the comments on the keyboard what you guys think. And as always, I am the legendary Michael Bowie.
And I am the legendary Manuel Pierce.
And this has been
A Legend Talks.
One.